Should you start an insurance agency? This is Business Idea Breakdown. My name is Nate Jones. On this channel, I break down businesses and I give them a score at the end on whether or not I would start that business. Today is a interesting day. I currently own an insurance agency, so I challenge myself to review this business as if I was going to start it again. I'm gonna review this business from two vantage points. One vantage point is from somebody who is not in the insurance industry whatsoever. Another vantage point is somebody who's working in the industry currently. So let's go ahead and get ahead on this. So an insurance agency, this business has been great to me and my wife. We run it together. We make triple to 4 times what we could make in our industry. So the money's great and there's a lot of other good things about it, but there are some bad things about it that I'm gonna be honest with you today on if you should start it or not. So I'm gonna evaluate 6 things: scale, profitability, ease of entry, time requirement, challenges, business, and number 6, is it sellable? Can you sell this business? That's the most important thing when you're building a business is, hey, am I building equity? Am I building a business that I can sell? So let's hop into this. Is an insurance agency scalable? Yes, it is. It is very scalable. As you grow your revenue, your clients need more of your attention, and then your time gets taken away. And then what you do is you hire an account manager, you hire another salesperson. You can continue to add staff. The staff is very clerical, so it's a very attractive job to a lot of people. There's no sweating involved. It's just sitting at a desk and working. Now, the biggest barrier to scaling is finding people that are in the insurance industry that you want to hire, and then also if people are not in the insurance industry, the biggest hurdle is training them. So scalable, yes, it is scalable. As your revenue grows, you add people and you keep building it up and up and up. Number 2, is it profitable? This business is very profitable because there is not many expenses. Me and my wife, we run this business from our house. We don't need an office. Everybody thinks that you have to have an office. You don't have to have an office. We do a lot of business insurance, so we go to people's businesses, or we take them out to lunch. So our fixed cost for this business is maybe some software. It's not that much, okay? We have some operating expenses now, but at the beginning, I mean, we were probably running on less than maybe $100 a month to start out with. So that's literally one account. So as a business, you, as an insurance agency, you make money by selling policies. So if the premium, which is what you pay for an insurance policy, is $1,000, you make 15% of that. On average, about 15%, so you'll make $150 on that policy. So if you're selling a lot of home and auto, if you're selling business policies, which I do because there's a lot more premium in it, you know, larger policies pay you more. It's very easy for you to be profitable to make over $100 a month. So business is very profitable if you keep your overhead low. A lot of people want to get into a lot of expenses in this business. I always say, hey, keep your operating costs low, maximize that net income. Number 3, is it easy to start? Unfortunately, this business is very hard to start. From somebody's vantage point of not being in the industry, hopping in this industry and starting this business is very hard because you need to know insurance. So there's an educational lag here. You have to learn it, and the best way to do that is go work for somebody else until you can start your own. So it's going to take you a number of years just to get to a point where you're confident enough to start your own insurance agency. If you're in the insurance industry, the reason that it's hard to start is because you have to get contracts with insurance companies. I run an independent agency, so we work with multiple insurance companies. Getting those multiple insurance companies is sometimes the hardest part. Now you can work with something called an aggregator, which is somebody who's going to give you market access, but the issue with some of those are there's a cost to that. Now whether they say there's no monthly cost, there's no exit fees, there's no blah blah blah, there is a cost that you're paying by accessing their market. Somehow they're making money off that, money that you could be making. So I would always recommend that you try to get your own contracts if you can, or eventually work with an aggregator until you can get your own. But it's very hard to start because, and I will say this into the profitability, going back to profitability, your retention is about 90 to 95%. So if you're retaining 90 to 95% of your book of business, which is your clients, that means that everybody else, most agencies are probably going to be around 90%. That means you have about 10 to 15% of the market share every year that's available for you to basically take. So that being said, a lot of people have been with the same agency for a number of years. So the business development side, which I'll talk to you later, is going to be a challenge on the ease of entry. But if you're in the insurance industry, I think you can figure this out. I figured it out. I'm not a genius, so I think you can figure this out if you put your mind to it and do some research. Reach out to me if you want to hear more about that. Number 4, time requirement. Another thing that's bad about this business is that if you're going to scale this business properly, at the beginning, you're going to have to work in it, you yourself. You're not going to have to, it's very hard to hire somebody to take care of the business when it's a new agency. So you're going to have to work in it. So it's going to require you to work full time. Like, this is not a business that you're, like some of the other businesses that I've reviewed in the past on my channel, go check them out. And on those businesses, they didn't require a lot of time and you got a lot of revenue. This business, it requires a lot of time and the revenue slowly trickles in over time, and then it eventually becomes this massive balloon like an annuity that keeps paying you. But at the beginning, you're working a lot and you may not be getting paid proportionate to where you were getting paid in the past. So the time requirement in this is pretty high. Number 5, the biggest challenges, like I mentioned before, is business development. For every business, you have to be a salesperson. If you are not a salesperson running an insurance agency, or you don't have some sort of plan to get business, or you've kind of done it before, that's the biggest hurdle. You have to have prospects. You have to have people that you're quoting. You have to have this stuff to be successful in this business. The next issue with this business that's going to be a challenge is making sure that you're compliant. Our business, we have thousands of clients. I own Wexford Insurance. I have that on today. I'm not trying to plug it or anything, but our biggest challenge is making sure that everything is taken care of 100% correctly. Because if we make a mistake, it's on us, right? So we make sure that we take care of every single client. Now that takes time. And as you scale your business, you're gonna need more people looking at it and making sure that everything's compliant. So this is not something that you can go write a policy and forget about it. You have to continue to manage it. And another thing is getting those carriers and keeping those carriers. They all want to be fed. And if you get too many carriers, you can't feed some and they'll remove your contract. So you want to keep it small at the beginning and get those contracts with those insurance companies and not have too many, because you want to get to profit sharing. Once you grow your premium so much with an insurance company, they will say, hey, thank you so much. Let me give you a little bit back in profits if your loss ratio, which is a fancy word of saying, if your clients didn't have that many losses, they'll give you some money back. So, the last thing here is this sellable. Is this business sellable? This business is amazing when it comes to the multiple on EBITDA. EBITDA is a fancy word of saying net income. So if you run your net income, take out your salary as an owner or anything that you've gotten, owner proceeds, and basically the net income of this business, the EBITDA is about 5 to 7 times. As it gets bigger, it could be 7 to 10 times. But basically, if you're thinking of your gross revenue, this business usually sells for, if it's over $1 million, about 3 times the revenue. So if you can build your revenue to $1 million, you can sell for $3 million. Anything under $1 million, you're about 2.5. So even if you build this business to $500,000, you could sell it for $1 million. And this business is pretty lean. So my only thing about this business that I don't think it makes sense to sell is because this business is such a, once you build this annuity, right? You got a 90% retention ratio, you're keeping that revenue, and if you keep your expenses low, this business continues to pay you, and you can manage your book of business. So why would you sell? The only reason you would sell an insurance agency is if you were involved in some sort of other equity deal, which is like a private equity company coming in and wanting to buy you, and some of that purchase price goes into equity in the private equity company, but that's more of an investment, right? It's not really selling your business, because you're probably gonna have to still work in that business if you sell to private equity. Or the other side is, hey, you wanna retire and you wanna get out, so you don't wanna do it anymore, so you need to sell that business. But other than that, why would you sell? And if somebody is selling a business, an insurance agency, you would wanna ask why. So there's certain businesses that have a high multiple, and the reason they do is because, like an insurance agency, 90% of that revenue is gonna be reoccurring. So the great thing about this business is the reoccurring revenue. I always say this, if I'm looking to buy a business, I wanna buy a reoccurring revenue business, which that's why I like real estate. If I can go buy a rental property, that income is going to keep coming in as long as I have a tenant in there. And if I don't have a tenant in there, I'm going to eventually get a tenant in there. I did a review on a wedding venue. I love wedding venues because if I buy that wedding venue, I know that people are going to continue to have weddings there as long as we don't screw it all up, right? So I really like reoccurring revenue because from a selling standpoint, I can tell that next person who's getting ready to buy my business, hey, this revenue is reoccurring. You know, you don't have to go out and get it every single day. So I gave this 2 scores. 2 scores, one if you're not in the industry and one if you're in the industry. The first score, if you're not in the industry, I'll give this a 5.1. I don't think this is a business that I call this the professional business category. CPAs, realtors, real estate, insurance, mortgages, a lot of education, a lot of training before you can just start your own business. So a 5.1, anything under 8, I would not start. Anything over 8, I would start. So a 5.1, if I don't know anything about insurance, I would not start this business because it's going to take you a lot of time. You're going to have to go work for somebody else for 3 years, and you're probably going to have to non-compete on your book of business to start your own. I mean, this is, I think there's a lot of other businesses that I've reviewed on my channel that you could start and make profit right away and build it a lot faster than this business. If you're in the insurance industry, opposed to that, this is a 9.2. If you're in the insurance industry, this is the 100% way to go. You need to start an insurance agency because the amount of money you can make in this is way more than if you can make in the insurance industry unless you're the freaking CEO of an insurance company. Okay? The money's better, the equity's better. When you retire from your insurance company or your insurance agency you're working right now, they're not going to pay you 5 to 7 times your EBITDA and your net income. Okay? They're going to say, goodbye, bye-bye, we might pay you a little bit on your book of business as you're leaving, but that's it. So this is the way to go. If you're talking about money, freedom, and equity, you need to start an insurance agency. And it's not that hard. Okay? I can help you out. I can show you how to do it. I don't have any angle. You don't have to pay me. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Comment below if you have any questions or businesses you want me to review. Subscribe and like. Thank you so much.